U.S. had the World Cup, by the way, and it was against the Lions. When you look back at playing on Thanksgiving, what stands out to you? What's the one quick thing that sort of pops out the most?
Well, it's all about family. Thanksgiving's all about family, and everybody's sitting around watching football. There's 3 games on tomorrow. That's really like the tradition of sports when it comes to Thanksgiving Day in the NFL is. And I don't know if you remember last year, 2 years ago, I was on with Michael and Kurt Warner, and we all talked about our Thanksgiving Day memories. And I only played one time on Thanksgiving Day. I think in high school I might have played twice. So to play, and the whole nation, everybody's watching you Thanksgiving Day. Then you win, you get to get the big turkey leg, or whatever, depending on if the big guy comes in first and takes the leg from you.
Well, but it's how it goes.
Yeah, it's always exciting playing for everybody that plays on Thanksgiving because it's a tradition and it's a lot of fun.
And it's certainly, and Josh Allen has had a taste of it. I think Josh Allen won and was eating that turkey leg.
2 years ago.
2 years ago, but it wasn't last year. It was 2 years ago. I was watching those highlights as well, so very excited about that. And they're going back to Detroit after getting snowed out at home last week. The fans shoveling their way to the airport. It's incredible. Why didn't they just stay in Detroit?
That's a good question. I think, Sean McDermott is a real family-oriented guy. And I think he knew the guys wanted to be back with their families for at least 1 day or 2 days. It's not a long flight. I think it's about an hour flight, hour and 10, 20-minute flight to Detroit. So I think he made the decision to do that. The guys wanted to sleep in their own beds maybe for 1 or 2 nights before they got up and left again. But, what a great thing that community did, the Buffalo Bills community, Bills Mafia, getting those guys out. And I played it. People have asked me this. Have you ever played in that kind of snow? And I go, well, I played in maybe 2 feet of snow, but you can shovel 2 feet to the side. But 6, 7 feet of snow, you can't shovel that to the side.
Well, it was a huge story. It was a huge story.
Yeah.
And then there's all this talk about this new stadium that the Pagulas, the city, are putting in. And there's a lot of talk about how there should be a dome, but everybody wants a dome. And I don't need every place in the NFL to have the same thing. And everybody wants a dome so they can host a Super Bowl or at least have a better chance at that. It's very clear. Your thoughts, Andre Reed, dome or no dome?
I go no dome. I'm a no dome kind of guy because we use the weather to our advantage. And even if they put a dome on there, I just don't see a Super Bowl coming to Western New York in February.
Okay.
Maybe, maybe not. I know I played in Minnesota one year. It was really cold in Minnesota. 1991, we played at the old Metrodome there. And what happened to that? They imploded that. I don't know. I think it's the Buffalo Bills have been playing in Buffalo for 60-some years.
Right.
Never had a dome. And I don't think the fans are, Bills Mafia is crazy.
Right.
They jump on tables, they put themselves on fire.
If I'm a fan up there, I want it because I get cold, when it's 70 degrees in LA. But if I'm a player, that's a competitive advantage that you have on 31 other squads, and I would never want to give that up. All right, I'm going to give it to you cut and dry when I get to this quickly. Josh Allen, 30th ranked passer rating over the last 4 weeks. Red zone interceptions. Explain to me why I shouldn't be worried.
Because of Josh Allen. I think this kid is mentally tough. If you saw 2 weeks ago against the Vikings, which to me is one of the best games of the year so far, he threw an interception. He was really down on himself. Then he threw another interception. He was down. I tell you, that team feeds off of what Josh does, and one thing that we have to do more and what we did last week is we ran the ball.
Yes.
Devin Singletary and James Cook had 80-some yards each. That's going to take a lot of pressure off of him and that elbow. We really don't know if that elbow is 100% or not. I don't think it is, but we don't want him running around and then he gets hit on it again or something happens and then we're done.
Do you think they're missing a piece?
On offense.
Like if you could add, or do they, because they came out so hot, it's stale right now. It just is, right? By the numbers.
Yeah, I mean they're they're not stale. They just there's a little
a hiccup.
The bread's hardened a little bit on the side.
Sometimes you can put it in the, but then you can make stuffing. That's the thing about, so that's a good comparison here. But if you could add one piece, what would you add?
Odell.
Okay, so get into this with me because you talked to Odell.
Yeah.
Before the season, we're hearing very clearly they're not hiding it down in Jerry world. You got Dak saying he's recruiting him. Who can recruit better? What does Odell want based on your conversation and your pitch for him to come to Buffalo and join Von Miller?
Well, at that time, he was just talking more about going, yeah, Buffalo, that sounds good. And at that time, he was still in his rehab process. He was starting to, he was kind of into his rehab just to get back. I think he's pretty close to it now. He's been doing a lot of hard work trying to get back. Yeah, I've heard, down in the grapevine that Jerry Jones wants him, and the Rams still aren't out of it. The Giants aren't out of it. I really don't know where the Bills stand. Of course, as a fan and as a player that played there, I'd love to have Odell in Buffalo. Would he be a good fit? Of course.
Yeah.
He was a good fit in the Rams last year, winning the Super Bowl, even though Cooper Kupp was the featured receiver. So I don't think if he does come to Buffalo, he would be that third. He'd be the third guy because Gabe Davis is a second guy.
Sometimes Gabe Davis is a little up and down though. So that's what I were to, I need Nyheim Hines to fill that role of the Cole Beasley and sort of bail him out. And I'm hoping he does, and I'm hoping he gets the ball a little bit more. Nyheim Hines is going to join our show next week, but I think that's a perfect sort of security blanket to lean on. And I do think it's one that Josh Allen misses. I also am starting to question, and we'll see what it looks like tomorrow, Daboll. There was a lot of he's not, he's going to really miss Daboll, and they came out swinging, and it was, man, let's give it up for Dorsey. Let's give it up.
Something, Kay. Soon as a quarterback doesn't play up to par like he did weeks or so before, right away the masses go right to, he had this offensive coordinator for so many years. Let's not take nothing away. Let's not take anything away from Ken Dorsey. Ken Dorsey is basically doing the same things, but maybe tweaking a little bit, but he knows Josh Allen real well. He's in that meeting room with him all the time. He was a quarterback coach. So it's not like a new coordinator or a new quarterback coach came in and tried to switch everything up. I think it's the same type of offense that Brian Daboll ran.
Okay.
It's everything. I think mostly, I'm sure, obviously every week you're going to change some things, but Ken Dorsey is a real good offensive coordinator.
I just wanted to hear I just needed to hear it because I think I got some Bills fans here in studio that are, we're all a little like, what's going on there? So it's good to hear Andre Reed give us some positivity on this team. And, you're more, last one for you quickly, and it could just be a yes or no. You're very plugged in. You're talking about what you're hearing down the grapevine down in Dallas. You're more plugged into that Bills organization than anyone I know, Andre. Are they talking to OBJ?
Well, Kay, I hate to tell you, I'm not that plugged in.
Yes, you are.
I'm plugged in, but I'm not that plugged in. I don't know what goes on upstairs.
Yeah.
There in the minds of all the the execs up there and people in the front office. I don't really know what goes on. I just see what goes on the field. And,
we want it to happen.
Actually, I mean, obviously Odell would be a big piece of a puzzle on any team. On all the 31 teams, we're the 32nd team. We would like to have Odell, but I think he's supposed to make a decision after next week. Sometime he said after Thanksgiving or something.
Let's get back on track with the Bills tomorrow up against Let Is Legit.
It's been legit, too legit to quit. It's been like that for a minute. I know that's old school, but hey, sometimes somebody got to do it. I've had this up here for a while. So I was on Nick Cavuto a couple of years ago, the year after the pandemic. And I got a big shout out from Nick and everybody at the studio there. Loved the background. So, of course, I kept it. So
it's amazing. And you got the Wheaties back there. The Bills will get into that. But let's start on the East Coast with this breaking news. What do you make of Zach Wilson getting benched? Did it have to happen?
Well, I mean, the Jets were kind of like playing like this. They're like a roller coaster. You just, pretty good defense. You win with defense, but your offense has to play well too. And we all know the quarterback is the focal point of the offense. Usually when the game's over, whether they win or lose, the quarterback is always the guy that's talking to the media first. So for him to say that he didn't let down the it seems like the media they teed him up to see what he was going to say.
Yes.
And he kind of failed that, because once you lose the locker room, especially as a young quarterback in this league, that is, the veterans kind of look at you a little crazy. So they all looked at him to be the focal point and the leader of the team. And as soon as he said, I didn't let them down, then Garrett Wilson starts talking, you got Sauce talking, you got the whole team talking. So when they come in the building the next day, they're kind of just eyeing him like this. Did he really just say that? So I think, the head coach